So I'm back where yesterday's marathon was. So when I got here in the morning, you couldn't see because it was pitch black. But when I finished, I saw a little bit of it, but I didn't actually see it properly because I had an offer of a tuk-tuk, which I took up very quickly because I just wanted to go to sleep. So today I will be looking around various temples. It costs $37 for the day. You have to have your photograph taken and you get checked at various places. So this is about 2.5 hours, this part. So let's see how the day goes. I didn't bring any sunscreen, which might be a problem, but I always forget sunscreen. So I'm back where yesterday's marathon was. So when I got here in the morning, you couldn't see because it was pitch black. But when I finished, I saw a little bit of it, but I didn't actually see it properly because I had an offer of a tuk-tuk, which I took up very quickly because I just wanted to go to sleep. So today I will be looking around various temples. It costs $37 for the day. You have to have your photograph taken and you get checked at various places. So this is about 2.5 hours, this part. So let's see how the day goes. I didn't bring any sunscreen, which might be a problem, but I always forget sunscreen. So already I'm only slightly into this first temple and I'm actually just blown away by the beauty of it and the age of it. I mean, it's nice to see something that's older than me, yeah. I just bumped into some marathon runners who I don't recognise actually on the route, but they're all faster than me. But no doubt there'll be a few people today walking off those weary miles from yesterday. This is so beautiful. Unfortunately, every time you visit any sites like this, there's always a bit of scaffolding or work going on, which they have to do, obviously, otherwise it's going to fall down. But I've never been able to go anywhere where it's not happening, even the Taj Mahal. But hey, you know, they have to keep it going, yeah. But it is beautiful here. Yeah. Let's just do a bit of a pan round. There's a lot of people here, but it's not absolutely packed like it was when I went to some sites in Vietnam. Maybe because it's early still. But it is an absolutely beautiful place and just blown away. You can spend up to 3 hours here. Not sure I can walk that long. So the way the sort of wind gets through this part is like an air conditioning. It's awesome, which I need at the moment. It looks like I'm going the opposite way around to the way of the visit. But I don't think anyone's going to tell me off. So again, this just gets more impressive the more you walk into it. Those carvings. Sorry about the sun. I've been around many temples in Asia, and just sort of very colourful South Indian temples, which I have in Malaysia as well. For Hindus, and the temples they have in Bali, which are more like this, no real colour. And then of course there's the Buddhist temples I've seen in Thailand and Vietnam, which are beautiful. But this is probably the oldest one I've been to. Just look at those carvings. No hydraulic platforms or cherry pickers when this was built. All done by hand. The people building this could never have imagined how popular this would be as a tourist destination, and the word tourist probably didn't even exist in those days. I'm hoping the video shows the beauty of this. It's never going to show the full beauty, but I'm sure you get a rough idea. I'm sure some of you have already been here. Those who haven't, get yourself here, yeah? If you're travelling from Europe, the UK is quite expensive to get to. But the big beauty of it is when you're here, it's fairly cheap. Although here they do a lot in dollars, which probably puts the price up slightly. But at least you roughly know where you are, what you're spending. I love these. They're like prison bars, but they're not. Shame that the head's not there, but it'd be wrong to put it on, to put a new one on, I guess. Because that's the original. Maybe the head was there. Maybe there wasn't a head right there. I'm going to go up here soon, but I know it's going to hurt my legs. Makes you wonder what was going through these people's thought when they had these cigarettes. Maybe workers, maybe tourists, but you know, a beautiful place. The cigarette is smaller than it was when they brought it here, so just take it home with you, yeah? But every part of the world I've been to, there's people just leave rubbish, and I don't get it. I really don't get it. It's horrible because they don't want to see it probably when they go back to another place. So just pick it up and take it home with you, yeah? Right, I'm going to attempt the steps now, which are going to be very welcome for my legs, I think. So that was a hell of a climb, but worth it. So it's quite a long way down the steps. I don't do heights, so this will be interesting. So we get away from the crowds a little bit as much as we can. So talking around the side of the temple, I mean, it's just absolutely awesome. So that would have been the steps that the visually would have used. I did like using the other steps and they were safe. So, steep they are. I still can't get over how awesome these carvings are here. That's 3k I walked around, my watch is telling me. I need the exercise, eh? So this is some of the works which I mentioned earlier, which have been taking place, which I guess it's always going to happen. I think it's the False Bridge in the UK. They say that they never finish painting it because they get to one end, they have to start the other end again because it takes so long. I wonder if you actually come here, if you live here. I used to, quite near Angkor Castle in the UK. And I went there for the first time last year. And I'm over 60. Anyone that knows me will know that I love Buddhas, and I had to leave a couple of some good friends of mine who are Buddhists in Malaysia because you can't import those into Indonesia. But I've got one in Indonesia still, which apparently when you could import them in. And I should buy some more when I get to Bali eventually. And of course I've got one on my arm for those that are unaware. This, I guess, was a place for washing before praying, but I could be wrong. So this is really enjoyable, really iconic, and I'm so glad I came. You know, I mean, I came here to run the marathon, but I came here to see this place as well. Been here in this temple probably about 1.25 hours. Probably going to go back the car. He said it takes between an hour and 2 hours, and you know, with great respect, a lot of it's very similar, so I'm not going to look at every single thing just to say I've done it, because it all looks very similar. I'm not going to walk in the grounds much because it's incredibly hot and sunny, and despite being English, I don't really want to get in the sun anymore, so I try and keep out of it now. As I live in Asia, it's all the time, so I don't want it all the time. Occasionally it's good for you, yeah. But this has been a great tour so far. I mean, it costs $37. That's not just for this place, that's for all the temples. You can get a 3-day one, which means you get 1 day free, so you pay 2 lots. So what, $72 for $74, sorry, my maths is bad. $74 for the 2-day ticket, but you get a 3rd day free. But I'm only here for another day, and I don't want to spend 3 days looking at temples. With the greatest respect, there's more to Cambodia, just the temples, just the people, you know. And whilst the temples are awesome, they're just full of tourists like me, you know. And I don't want to meet or bump into loads of other tourists. I want to bump into Cambodians, because that's what I'm here for, you know. And that's why yesterday's marathon was great, because he went through some villages. And the walk I did the day before, I went off-piste a little bit and went into the areas, more Cambodian area, just to see a little bit different, you know. So, you know, I love Western culture, and that's why I'm going to live in Bali, but I like a bit of Eastern as well, or Asian. Well, I like a lot of Asian. So I like a good mix, personally, and I'm getting that in this short holiday. So, yeah, but I recommend it, 100%. Recommend doing the Angkor marathon, or the half marathon in December, or the full range is coming up in I guess this time next year. So I recommend doing it. I would certainly look at coming back, 100%. The people are great. The weather's okay for me. I don't find it too hot generally, although it is today. But yeah, I fully recommend it. So I'm back outside now, getting sunburnt. So I guess there's 2 ways of looking at this. If you do this before the marathon, then it'd be easy if you're fit. Obviously you will be fit if you're doing a marathon, because there's a lot of steps of climbing, but I think but it could interfere with your performance on the day. Certainly would mine. I think whatever stage of running you are, whether you're an elite athlete, whatever, you shouldn't be doing this sort of workout and steps in that the day before. So doing it the day after is probably the best. If you're here for a week or so, then do it a week after. That would be ideal. Doing it 2 days after? No, because that tends to be when I find that I tend to really seize up. So just doing it the day after is probably the best I could do. Plus I'm flying back tomorrow anyway. But it is tough. My legs have had enough of all the steps in there. So whilst I'm not looking forward to the sun too much, I'm looking forward to not having quite so many steps, although I've got one in front of me now. But yeah, so I'm blown away. This place is absolutely the best. One more pan round the Angkor Wat. As I say, there's a lot of people here, but it's not overcrowded. I mean, maybe it's the time of the season, because it is the wet season, so less people are here. I don't know, but when I went to some sites in Vietnam, they were awesome sites, but the queues were just unbelievable, and people were not fighting, but certainly arguing, trying to push you in, and from all around the world. So I'm more than happy that this is quieter. That is so nice. So that coconut was nice, $1. But to put it into perspective, when I was in India, right, it wasn't tourist, but I was paying 25. I suppose roughly 25 cents, probably even less, about 18 cents I was paying on the street for a coconut, bigger one. So that is a difference, I guess, with a touristy place and a non-touristy place. So just been past the sort of touristy bit, want to get myself a fridge magnet. For those that collect fridge magnets, and I know they're naff and that, but I like them, yeah. I try and avoid the ones that got little round magnets on the back because they fall off, yeah. It's happened to me many times, you know, and if the magnet doesn't break, well, you never get around to fixing it, you just throw it away. So I prefer the flat ones. So the ones with the round things on the back, $1, which is fine. The flat ones, which are all magnet, $8. So we agreed on six or five. Agreed on $6, right? Which is more than, still too much, but it is what it is. But then she didn't have any change, yeah? And I was looking at the little Angkor miniatures. So I got one of those as well. Gave me special price, yeah? So I know what it's like. And if I did know what it's like, then I wouldn't come to these places. You know, it's nice to get a souvenir from these places. At the end of the day, to them, it's a lot more money than it is to me, even though I'm retired now or not working. So I don't mind doing it, but maybe that's a little bit more than I wanted to pay. But Cambodia is, I think, generally cheap, but in the touristy areas it's quite expensive. I think Vietnam, from my experience already, is cheaper generally. The trouble is, they're talking dollars out here, you know. Once you start talking in dollars, or sterling, or euros, the prices are always going to go up. It's always going to be more expensive, you know. It's probably not good for the locals, having dollars as a currency. Because you can't take, well, you can take it out of the country, I guess, but you can't exchange any money you have in reals. So, the Cambodian money, so dollars is a sort of way here, but... So I'm not sure. You know, I think if this is not really a budget holiday, the taxis seem to be quite expensive out here compared to Indonesia. So Cambodia is I guess a poor country. It's certainly not one of the highest GDPs around the world. But I think they use the tourism, and especially Angkor area. I think if you go out the touristy bit, I think you'll probably financially you'll probably be better off. So I'm going to walk back towards my transport now. Back to what was the actual start line for the marathon stage, which is just down there. You can see at the end. I don't know if this is one of the wonders of the world. I don't know how many is these days, but how does it compare to the Taj Mahal? There's a lot less people than the Taj Mahal, for starters. It's bigger than the Taj Mahal. There's a lot more to see than the Taj Mahal. But the Taj Mahal, you know, it's just iconic, isn't it? I mean, I suppose it's the beauty of the white marble. When you see it, it's like, wow. I remember the first time I went to Wembley Stadium as a kid to see England play. And there was 90,000 in there for any evening game. And I remember just seeing the crowd and the tobacco smoke over the crowd that I used to get. And I was only, 14 at the time, I think, something like that. And that will always live with me, you know. And seeing the big crowds at my team Brighton when I was younger, and the terraces were crammed in. But, you know, I'm not comparing Brighton with the Taj Mahal at all, but the Taj Mahal is something that you know, everyone has to see, I think. India's a country that everyone needs to visit. It's a great place, very diverse. But you can't really compare Angkor with the Taj Mahal, I don't think, because it's completely different. Now I'm walking back down the entrances. The exit is over there. There's these steps over here. But I don't want to walk any further. I've had enough of using my legs over the last few days, so I'm quite happy to come back this one. I guess when it's really busy in the dry season, then yes, I think that's why they do that. So I guess that's proven to me that this place does get busy. But at the moment, it's fine. So as I try and walk down some more steps, my legs are really complaining. So this is actually the finish line yesterday. We came here earlier this morning. There was a lot of, I think it's some sort of national thing going on. A lot of Cambodian flags and drums, and it was great, you know. And I've got it on video earlier, as you saw. But this is very quiet here now, and it's hard to think. Yesterday, this is all full of runners doing their first 3k, 5k, 21k, and 42k, and at the end of it, most of them would have been happy, relieved. There'll be some disappointment if I do not finish, but generally most people tend to finish the races, and it's just weird to see this place again. Literally, the next day, having never been here before. So I've only ever seen it once before, and it was packed with people. Now it's pretty quiet. So one more pan round. See, so I got here yesterday morning. You couldn't see any of that. You saw the statues by the stairs there, but apart from that, nothing else you could see because it was pitch black. You know, so I had no idea. When I finished, I saw it. I thought, right, I might go and have a look in a minute. But then a guy came up to me and said, "Tuk." And I thought, I'd been worried a little bit how I was going to get back anyway, because it was about a 6k walk. And I really didn't fancy a 6k walk. Well, I've done 4 today now. But it's been a good day. Cambodia's a lovely country. As I say, a bit expensive in touristy areas. A pint of beer is quite cheap. It works at about not even $1. So that's quite good. But last night I was going to have 2 or 3, but I just didn't fancy. I only had 1. Maybe tonight I might have a few more. But then I'm meeting my friend in Thailand tomorrow, so no doubt we'll have a few beers. But my shirt they've given me for the finish, which I've got on now, is extra large. And it is a little bit too big for me, but if I carry on drinking these beers, then it actually might be too small. So I've said already on the video, and I'll say it again, if anyone gets a chance to come out here, you know, and try and do Asia. I mean, a lot of people are put off by Asia from the UK because of the cost of flying, and you can get, you know, a cheap all-inclusive holiday in Spain for, you know, I don't know how much they are now, but still fairly cheap. But you know, the cost of flying over here and the long distances is a long way with the family. But the beauty is when you get here, the cost of not so much Cambodia touristy areas, but generally the cost of most things, eating out's okay. It's fairly cheap here. So, but I love Asia. So this site, I ran through this yesterday on the marathon, but I ran the opposite way. So it's nice to see it. What a great place, eh? So look at these are just awesome, aren't they? Absolutely awesome. It says 12th century on the site, and whether these are all 12th century, I think some have been reconstructed by the looks of it. Doesn't look very happy. So this is Bayon Temple, late 12th century. So again, as old as me.
So your temple practice.
So he asked to see my ticket. It's like you're on a train, and the guy comes around to see your ticket, you can't find it. As soon as he's gone, you then manage to find it. I couldn't find it, but luckily I took a photograph of it earlier for this blog. So he was happy with that. So I got done with it. So this one's sort of more ruined. I don't know if these are word ruins, because it's very old, but it's not as restored as the other one. But I sort of like that because I think it's more original. Sorry if the camera works a bit shaky, but I'm doing a few steps and they're harder to navigate at the moment. Now, this was part of my running route yesterday, so I ran past this. It was quite busy then. I went to Petra a number of years ago, and Petra's a great place as well. Weather's a bit kinder, a bit cooler, and what's interesting, what I think was interesting, is there's a program called Idiots Abroad, or Idiot Abroad rather. Carl Pilkington, very funny. It was a series. Ricky Gervais was the one that sort of controlled it, directed it, sort of thing. And I remember they saying to him, Carl Pilkington, that some of the houses, well, not houses, sort of tombs and similar to this, are lovely, are awesome. Other ones are just plain. And he said he'd much sooner live in a plain one because he can look opposite and see the nice ones. If you stay in a nice one, then your front view is not so nice. And I guess that's the same with these temples. I mean, they're impressive inside. Don't get me wrong, they are. They're beautiful, but they're more impressive outside because you get the whole structure. I mean, this is just awesome. Look at it. It just reeks of old times, yeah. Do not climb. Well, that's not going to happen. Whilst I hope we can go out there, I also hope that we can't. And beautiful carvings. Unfortunately, haven't quite withstood the test of time.
học nè thôi nhé, lồng liệt sớm không? Không, họ khỏi bên luôn.
So awesome temple. But I'm not going to go inside anymore because it's just too hard on my legs to keep going up all these steps. And as before, it's very much similar every time you turn the corner. So it's the first monkey I've seen. So that is the impressive temple. As I say, I really can't do the steps, not all the way to the top. I think if you go to the top, you can go quite high up. My legs are just not working very well because yesterday's race. I ran past this yesterday, so it's great to see it at a more leisurely pace. Well, I'm actually hotter than I was yesterday. Impressive place, eh? So walking to the next temple now, which hopefully is not too far. I'm hoping I can walk through this way. I don't really want to walk all the way around. As I said earlier, I've seen many temples around the world, and they're all different, you know. Some are okay, you know. Some are absolutely awesome. I'd probably put this on the awesome, well, the temples, maybe because of the age of them. And I went to see one in Malaysia a few months ago. It was impressive, but it was only about 3 years old, you know. So it was nice, don't get me wrong, and I don't want to be disrespectful, but at the end of the day, the sort of tools that are available to man to make these things nowadays is already obviously there, whatever it wasn't. What I found interesting yesterday when I was doing the run, which I know I keep mentioning, sorry, I ran across this bridge. And it was a modern bridge, it wasn't an old bridge. And the side of it, all the sort of statues on the side looked, they were clean, but they looked like they were done years ago. But you could smell the resin where they're just repairing one, so they obviously weren't brand new, which is fine. You know, they don't purport to be old. They're just trying to be in keeping with the local scenery, if you like, if that's the right word. So I'm guessing this is a bathing pool. Maybe people could tell me if I'm wrong, or it could be a fish pool. But they're normally bathing pools, certainly in my experience of the Hindu religion. But this, I think, is Buddhist. The temple I've just been to is Buddhist. But there is some connections, I think, between all the religions. I don't want to get into a religious debate on YouTube because I don't want to upset anybody. But personally, I like all religions and respect all religions. I'm born a Christian, I'm christened, but I guess I'm probably a mix of all of them, and that's fine. So I done some steps. They weren't too bad, and I stopped halfway and was speaking to a couple of people that ran yesterday. They did the half marathon. The girl was very apologetic because she said I didn't do the full, but she's got a full marathon t-shirt on. She said, but that's what they gave me. I said, I only did the half. I said, well, it's not only. It's nothing only about a half marathon. It's 21 kilometres. It's a long way. But this is sorry, I forgot the name of this temple. But it is beautiful.
He also beat in Cambodia.
Yes, I saw his blog.
Yeah.
Because we do something advertisement for, I don't think it is drinks or what. Yeah, for beer.
It feels like you're walking around the battlements, but obviously this is not a fort. But it's less steps, he says, going down a step. But you can really get to see the whole temple. So the three temples I visited so far, they're all so different, you know, and obviously Angkor is the iconic one, and the one I've been to just now is a lot more ruined, if you like, more damage to it. But this one is absolutely awesome. Now, shall I do the steps? I go all the way to the top. Well, I regret it. Do I have enough left in my legs? I'll ask you to put your comments down below, but by the time you've done that, I would have either be back at my hotel or done them. But I think I'm going to do them. Let's see how it goes. Well, I've done the first ones, so and there's more. So I've done those. I don't do heights. My granddad would tell you. We went to granddaughter, sorry, would tell you. We went to a Monkey World thing in Crawley near Gatwick Airport. I did a couple of things and then couldn't do any more. I was absolutely terrified. But granddaughter was fine. But unfortunately, because I was with her, she couldn't do it either. She was very disappointed, but very sweet about it. I just don't do heights. Going up is actually not an issue. It's coming down I have a problem. So coming down these stairs, I'm really not looking forward to it. But I've got myself to blame because I came up here, yeah? So because I came up these steps, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the like button. Give me some comments. So it looks like these steps are closed. Am I disappointed? Nah, I'm not disappointed at all. Just be careful. I will. Well, I did it, both sets, so that was quite scary. As I say, I don't do heights, And going upstairs is, or steps like that is not really a major issue because I can't see the bottom. But coming down, it's like I've done a few mountain walks and that before on hikes, and when you go up the side of the mountain, I'm not talking climbing, we're talking walking, yeah? I'm not that adventurous. I find it's not a problem, but then I have to come down the other side. I think, oh no. But, so I'm actually regretting not buying some more water now when I left the last one. So I need to get some water. It's incredibly hot. I did wonder, because I thought it was a bit cooler here why the marathon started so early, but I know now what it did. I mean, I finished about 9:30ish, no, something like that. I forget what time it was, 10 o'clock maybe, and it was very hot then. It's the other side. So whilst I went to some awesome sort of modern current temples in Thailand, and they really are colourful and beautiful, same in Vietnam. I also went to an old sort of derelict one. It wasn't that big, but it was, I don't know, it felt from a spiritual point of view, it felt pretty strong. You know, I mean, the driver, I was lucky in Thailand, in Chiang Rai, I employed a local guy, and I think he worked out cheaper than the TripAdvisor type tours. And TripAdvisor tours are very good, don't get me wrong, but this one was actually, I was very lucky. I picked on the right guy, and he took me all around places, and because it was just me and him in a car, so if there'd been four of us, it'd been really cheap, but because it's just me in a car, we could go to places where sort of tour buses can't go, you know. And I remember we went to literally Myanmar was below us. That was quite interesting. We went to the Laos-Myanmar border, Golden Triangle, but we went to one part where, as I say, Myanmar was right below me. I could have thrown a stone and it would have landed in Myanmar, you know. But the point is the temple we went to. It was old. It was derelict, very derelict. But it was great. It just felt so good, you know. So Chosei Tavado Temple, probably pronounced totally wrong. So there's 5 more temples to see. Whether I see them all, let's see how the time goes, because I want to go and see. They have some killing fields here to do with Pol Pot. The main ones are near Phnom Penh, but they have some here, which I'm quite interested in, because I like sort of more local history as well. But this temple's not so big, which I'm very happy with, because my legs are very tired. So way a visit. Sometimes I look at the English translations, or I used to look at the English translations and have a little laugh to myself, but now I use Google Translate, and I guess a lot of my translations from Google Translate probably make sense, but grammar-wise, language-wise, they're probably really poor. So this is, I say, a very much smaller temple, but it is beautiful, as you can see. There is some steps here, unfortunately. This is quite nice, like the walk into it. Well, I don't think we can do that. But I'm quite happy not to walk anymore, or not walk too much. So I just had a nice lunch. I'm not always very good at eating Asian food. It's naughty, really. I do eat it, but I just had a couple of nice pieces of bread. I said bread, cheese, an egg, and fried potato, which is basically French fries. A couple of French sticks, which is quite nice. A triangle piece of cheese, and egg, but it was perfect. It was okay. It's very similar to the bread they have in Vietnam as well. The French bread they have there. I've tried Vietnam restaurants outside of Vietnam, and they're not as good. Generally, I think Indian food is much better in India. I think most countries, fish and chips I've had around the world, and none of it is as good as English fish and chips. Some come close. An Australian would argue that their fish and chips is better, which is fine, but it's not, of course. Right, so this is say a lot smaller. So just wonder how safe that is, eh? Is it going to fall down the top of me? It's been here probably 800, 900 years, so probably not. I think I said earlier that all the temples are so different, and I like this one a lot. It's small, there's not a lot here, so the fact that I'm not walking so much and climbing steps is good. But I also like it because it's just got a different feeling about it, you know. It's just it's very similar to the one I went to in North Thailand. Very sort of eerie, not many people here, which gives it a bit more of a spooky, but not only spooky, but also a spiritual type feeling, you know. So Thomanman or Tomanman, or I've totally pronounced that wrong. So
Hello,
my
you wanna have
apologies.
pizza?
No, thank you.
Alright, color pancake, you look here. Only $1 for you, sir.
No, thank you. Hello. I always feel a little guilty when I say no to these guys because they're making this stuff and this is their living and they need our money. But at the end of the day, I've got so much stuff now well, most of it's actually in Indonesia now. Some of it's en route to Indonesia. At least most of it's here. Well, not here, but in my final country. But how much do I want, really? I mean, I like bits and I love them and souvenirs, but I've got no sort of hold baggage for the plane. I've only got sort of hand baggage, so that's good because it restricts me from bringing too much stuff back. So this is beautiful. I like this temple. Again, it's so different from the other ones, and it's beautiful. It's old, rustic. It's just great, isn't it? Lots of, I don't know if you can see them on the video, lots of butterflies about. That's what I like about Asia. You get them sort of everywhere. India was very good for butterflies. Some of the most beautiful ones I've ever seen in India. Just trips up. That's the trouble with me, I'll trip up on flat ground. This is probably 1100 years old. It's just amazing, isn't it? You know, you buy anything these days and it lasts a few years. Yeah. I don't know how long the buildings are going to last. I mean, I've had some buildings in the UK that were built sort of turn of the century and also built in the 30s, and they're very good, and I'm sure they're still standing. But I just look at some of the buildings they put up these days, and right, they're not iconic as such, but are they still going to be here in, you know, in 1,000 years or whatever? I don't know. Tree roots, quite impressive. Sometimes it's actually an invasive species that causes the roots, but I don't think that is. I think that is this. But I'm not an expert. But I'm sure somebody can put some comments on. I mean, how awesome is that, eh? How awesome. I've just been approached by, I think, every single store owner here selling food, souvenirs, guidebooks, all sorts of stuff. I sort of feel sorry for them because these ones are not clearly as visited as much as the main ones. I don't know why, because they're beautiful. If anything, I mean, you've got to go to Angkor. Of course you have. I mean, that's the iconic one here. And there was lots of people there. But these are, again, maybe it's because it's in the rainy season, but there's hardly anyone here. You know, there's a couple of people in each one. I actually really like these two. So they're not my favourite. They're all my favourite, yeah. But I like them because it's short and sweet, and unlike my videos, yeah. It's good, and you know, it's been a great experience. So Thai Keo Temple, late 10th century. Wow. So late 10th century. So that's what? It's over 1,000 years old, yeah? That's just unbelievable. No, it's not. Yes, it is, sorry. Over 1,000 years old. So this is a very tall temple, the guy just said. But I won't be going up the steps. I can see people up there, which is why I know. But it's impressive already. Again, it's becoming on the list of my favourite temples in Siem Reap. I hope you're enjoying this video. Please leave any comments, any suggestions. I am still learning. I'm new to YouTube, so I'm still learning the best way to do it. And please subscribe. It's really appreciated when you do. Not only is it good for me, but it also shows that people actually enjoy my videos. So I think this is definitely a well. So do I walk up this one? Do you know what? I think I'm going to go for it. My legs are still working. Must admit, when I was less travelled, I was a lot younger, I just assumed that Asia would just be palm trees everywhere, coconuts and bananas, and it is. But there's also lots of forests like this. I don't know what these trees are. I know a lot of the world, because I saw them in India, has eucalyptus trees, which obviously are native to Australia. But of course they grow very fast. I mean, I had some in the UK. They're very hardy, they don't lose their leaves. As I say, they're very fast growing. Now I'm a little bit confused, because my driver says he's going to meet me. I have to walk up the road, but there's no obvious path. So another street dog. I've noticed the street dogs are very chilled here. they're generally not that skinny. Some yes, but a lot of them are not. A lot of them I notice are scratching all the time, but we've got a het street dog, and yeah, I mean, the skin is bad on street dogs. It's just the way it is. But I don't think they're treated badly out here. You know, I don't think they're beaten, and because they're not aggressive. You know, I've not had any dogs I've had barking at me is in people's houses, which is normal, yeah. But I've not had any barking at me out here, you know, which is great. Right, I think I am going the wrong way, so I might have to call him. I don't really want to walk around the whole complex, as beautiful as it is. Let's try and get a... Maybe it's up here. Maybe it's up here. Let's have a look. It's just so impressive, isn't it? It's just awesome. As I say, it's been there 1,000 years. I think the roof needs doing. Maybe a bit of modernisation, but it's just amazing. A lot of them, especially the big ones, seem to be built like sort of forts, castles, you know. I wonder why, because they're places of worship, they're temples, so maybe there's a reason. Again, maybe someone can leave their comments, but maybe there's a reason why they're like that, because I guess they don't have to be defended, or maybe they did have to be defended sort of 1,000 years ago. I mean, we get trouble now, you know, issues in certain places of worship around the world, you know, from everywhere, you know, Europe, Asia, Middle East, Africa's. So maybe it happened then. Well, there's a sign that said parking lot, so I'm guessing that's where he's going to meet me. I hope it is, because it's 125 metres, so I don't want to walk there and then walk back. I'm getting so lazy now. I can't call him because I can't get a signal. So I'm hoping it is here. No, he's not here. Or is he parked up there? No. So they're trying to sell me stuff as I go through, and the girl said, "You buy from me." I said, "No, I don't need." She said, "I already have one." "Well, have a two." I said, no, it's okay. She said, "Well, I'll meet you when you come back here." I said, "I'm not coming back here. I'm going to next gate." "Oh, okay then. I'll see you there then." I said, "I'll buy one of you next year." She said, "How will you remember me?" So they said, "Photo." So I took photo. You got to admire their determination. So some of the places they stop you for ticket, other ones they don't. I suppose it depends on the size. This looks like quite a big one. So I don't know if it's a temple, because I'm going from one gate to another apparently. So I don't quite know if it's actually a temple I'm going to now, but he's going to pick me up at the other side anyway. So they were, according to the sign, those people playing these musical instruments, they're victims of the landmines, because there's obviously still landmines about. I don't think they're here, but I think they're in certain places. So I just bumped into a guy I saw earlier. So you're starting to see people you recognise because everyone's going to the same temples. So I guess I'll just keep going straight. So this is a different sort of temple. This is like one of the old ones I saw in Vietnam. I guess what do you do when the stones fall down? You can't just put them back, so just keep them, I suppose. They have tour guides here. Obviously, they speak Cambodian and they speak English. But they obviously the Chinese languages. But also, I think all the European languages I've heard. I haven't heard French, but there will be French. Obviously, Cambodia. But I've heard them in Spanish, and they're often in other languages. I think Russian as well. I've heard. Look at that wall. Amazing, yeah? Amazing. I guess it's difficult when this has happened. What do you do, yeah? If you repair it, then it's not old anymore, is it? You know? Too many steps. Oh. But if you leave it, it's just going to get worse. But to be honest, I don't mind it like this. I mean, this has fallen down, and maybe they're trying to put some repairs to stop it happening again. But I think you have to leave it. But at some point, maybe it won't be fit for visit anymore because everything has a life, yeah. It's out the sun here, which I like very much. Again, as I say, a completely different from the other temples that we've seen today. So, which is good, yeah. But they're not all the same. They're really not. As I say, I'm still not convinced I could do this for 3 days. I think after a while you'd be templed out. But oh, look at that. That's wow. Look at that. Don't really have time to visit anything inside these temples because we're going somewhere else afterwards. So it's literally just a walk round. I'm following the sign. Hopefully I won't get lost. But anyone knows me, I can get lost in my front lounge. This is lovely. It's so peaceful here. All you can hear is my voice. And a bit of chattering in the background. Look how thick that tree is. Probably can't appreciate it on the video, but it's very thick. And that's not the bottom of the trunk, that's going quite high up there. I'll be coming back here next year with my wife so we can do the marathon again. Spend a bit more time in Cambodia. The people are great. It's just, as I said before, it's just a little expensive when it comes to the touristy side of it. I mean, I guess $37 for a day of this. I mean, most places in the world it's going to cost you that, but in Asia it normally doesn't, you know. So I think from that point of view, it's quite expensive. Maybe you've got some comments on that, but certainly most places that I've been to in Asia don't charge this sort of money. So I think that's my only real complaint about this. Maybe it was cheaper before COVID. Again, if anyone can let me know, that would be good to hear. I know a lot of places have changed post COVID. Different types of visas. You have to pay for visas now. I mean, when I first went to Australia, 2017 I think it was, I had to get a visa online, but I didn't have to pay. When I went last year, I had to pay. So I guess a lot of countries are trying to make up their money from visitors. And I don't have a huge issue with that. I mean, especially a place like Cambodia, Thailand, Bali and Indonesia, and a lot of Indonesia relies heavily on tourism, you know, and Dubai does. Relies heavily on the tourism industry, and there just wasn't any for a number of years, you know. I just hope to God we don't get another pandemic like that. So either I've gone round in a full circle, and this is where I started, because there's people playing the same sort of instruments, or it's just another one. I think it's another one because they look different. But the actual entrances in are very, very similar, both sides. But it's certainly been enjoyable visiting these temples in this area. It's definitely got to be on everyone's to-do list. It's I think really, I think what a lot of people do, and I mean I didn't when I was younger, I never had the money and it wasn't really the sort of fashion to do it, but it's to travel all around Southeast Asia. You know, I'm probably a bit old for that. I don't like living at different hotels, not anymore. I mean, I was going to move hotels because I've had a bit of not hassle. I mean, the hotels where I stay homestay is great, but it's just too far from town. But I managed to sort that issue out. But I was going to move and get a cheaper hotel in town, well, not cheaper, but a hotel in town for a couple of days. But I don't like that. I can't. And I went to Vietnam in December, and we had a really nice hotel at the start, awesome for a couple of nights. Then we stayed on a boat in Halong Bay, again awesome, but not quite as comfortable as the first hotel. But it was a boat. And then the last hotel, again great hotel, but not as comfortable as the first hotel. So I wish we'd gone back to the first hotel, but you know, you don't know these things, you try them out. I like to sort of, if I'm going to go for a holiday, I like to go to one place and spend 2 weeks there. But I'm lucky, I guess, now because I live in Southeast Asia. I don't have that problem. I can travel a couple of hours flight and I'm there, which is great. So I don't have to go from London, change in Dubai or Singapore or Hong Kong. I'm already there. You can see that butterfly. I'm trying to get it on the camera. They are beautiful. More steps. But I think this is the end of it. I think if I've gone the right way, I should be meeting my driver. Look at that. See that's the sort of iconic Asia that you expect, isn't it? Palm trees. which it is, as I say, but you also get a lot of the normal trees that we see in Europe. Well, I don't see Europe anymore because I'm not there. So apparently this is the final one. So again, I come in at Eastgate, or come in at Westgate, I can't remember what he said, and I meet him in the other one. So I've come in this gate here. I don't think it's that far actually. I just saw a guy and he saw my shirt. He said, "Oh, you done the marathon?" I says, "Yeah." I said, "Did you do it?" He said, "No, but I saw a guy at the hotel." He said he was trying to walk down the stairs. He could hardly walk. So I said, "You should have seen me on the temples just now. I'm just the same." You see, so just now I showed you the sort of stereotypical Asian jungle, the palm trees and stuff like that. And then this could be anywhere. It always makes me laugh actually, because we call it woods or forest or a copse in the UK. You know. In India and Asia they tend to call it jungle. In Australia the bush. You know. When we were in India on like a tiger safari, they were talking about the jungle, but it looked just like the woods back home for me. It's sort of weird, you know. It didn't look like a jungle. The jungle isn't always like rainforest, you know. It's just dense woodland, I guess. Sorry about the sunlight. I guarantee by watching my video you won't get any UV issues. Well, who knows? How beautiful is that? Again, look at that tree. It's enormous. Looks like somebody's painted it with sort of metallic type paint. But it is absolutely enormous. See how big the trunk is, yeah? So I've not seen any signage this time, but I think I'm going the right way. I just seen an animal running up ahead actually. It looked like a deer, but I don't think it is a deer. It didn't look like a dog. And there's no lions here because the tigers have eaten them all. Ah. Just amazing, that rock and the lichen on it. Look at that. First time I've heard that bird since I've been in Cambodia. Used to get some great bird calls when I lived in India. India's got a great abundance of bird life. I'm not particularly into bird watching. Right, answers my question, they were dogs. Beautifully. I just love dogs so much. I just wish the governments around the world would do something about it, you know, and would actually sterilise them all, because right, I know a lot of them wouldn't be born, but a lot of them suffer. It seems the ones over here seems to be okay. I mean, India has by far a bigger issue with dogs. So my driver told me that this was the last one, and as interesting as they are, and they really are, as beautiful as they are, iconic, religious, everything good, yeah. I don't want to see any more today because my legs have had it. So I'm quite okay with that. It's been a longish day. So about 8:30 this morning, and had to go and buy the ticket in advance. And we'll probably be finished by about 6. And I'll go out for a few beers tonight. Then tomorrow, same guy will pick me up, take me to the airport. I'll go and meet my mate in Bangkok for a few days. And chill and relax.